one because there's one small item I want to vote on. So stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
David Kemlish. Here. Heidi Kramer. Here. Nancy Ellis. Here. Jerry Jericho. Jenny Matiki.
Here.
Frank Terry.
Here. Before we get into I have one thing I wanted to vote on real quickly, just get it done with. Last month, as everyone's aware, we advertised for the truck. I believe the high bid was $250, is that right? We decided at that point to wait. We wanted to talk to the street department to see the situation. I have talked to them extensively. The transmission is completely shot. So normally I would say to go ahead and wait, since we already did table it from last month. It's basically just in their way there right now. That I'd like to ask for a motion to go ahead and accept the high bid we had of $250. And who was that from again, Roberta?
Joe Smith.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
Did anyone else, any other questions on it? Like I said, I did confirm with Craig. Last time they actually got it there, yeah, they actually had to drive it, I believe, in reverse to get it back to the garage when it actually broke down. It's unmovable at this point, so. Okay, no other questions? Roll call for that, please.
Mark Audrey.
Yes.
Jody Kemlish. Yes. Heidi Kramer.
Yes.
Nancy Ellis. Yes. Jenny Matiki.
Yes.
Frank Terry.
Okay, I think let's go ahead and start with Dennis. I'm back there somewhere.
Thanks. Where do you want me to? I just want to talk to everybody's back.
Yeah.
I know it's been a little while, but I want to provide you with an update on where we're at with the, which is now the STMP, Strategic Management Planning Program. Just a couple things that we've been analyzing, acquiring data as we've been getting it for the plan. Presently, we're completing the draft plan. That'll be provided to council as well as the PCED, who's funded the project. We'll get that to you guys in short order. So we've been working on that. Just some of the findings, I'll touch on some briefly. Just to put your mind at ease, the borough's not distressed. So that's a good thing. Just some information that came out of that was, Rebecca, who's been doing our financial piece to this, she's been working closely with the borough and also with Denise to get this information. So that information showed that you guys are not distressed. Although assessed value has been down, it's been sliding since the reassessment. You're down about $5 million, but in talking with her, that's probably normal. I mean, it's some of that comes from the fact that what she told me was it's a correction, basically a market correction for the assessed value, and a lot of that's due to appeals. It's going to take a couple years till that all levels out. So again, nothing to panic about, she said. We all know downtown has a few issues, some of the vacancies, some of the blight, some of the perceptions we found too, in talking to people and also having the business owners meeting, things like that. Just some things that we can correct and that we have specific recommendations in the plan for that. Population, as you guys know, just like all of southwestern Pennsylvania, has been declining. Since 1970 to 2010, the last full census, the borough lost about 2,600 people in that time period. Still far away from in 1920 where the borough had actually 11,000 people. Never realized that, but and also if you look at the U.S. Census Bureau's estimates, 2018 even shows that decline continuing. So again, that's one of the things we're going to have to find that these economic development strategies is how do we get people back into town in the borough. Also, the census figures showed that in 2010, about 80% of the housing units were occupied, so there's about a 20% vacancy rate. Comparing that to the county, which is the county average, which is about 91.5%, so it was about 10% down from the county. And of those total housing units, it was almost an even split on owner-occupied and renter-occupied. It's about 50-50. Now that's a lot different from the county, which is close to 75-25 for owner-occupied and renters. Some of the general recommendations in the plan, we do have more specific goals, strategies, and actions. One of those is, maybe to work with the county and the school district to identify some strategies to sell some of these properties and find ways to maybe get some of these properties on the market. Again, want to increase revenue for the borough and trying to find some creative ways to do that. Looking at what other municipalities are doing, we've been doing that as well, compiling some of these so-called best management things. Promoting the borough's assets. There are a lot of assets here in the borough that you have, and trying to get people down and maybe access to the river. Some of the other things that are going on in the community. You want to make sure that you try to get people into town. Again, that helps, people are spending money down here, promoting what you have. Trying to get entrepreneurs into the borough. That's one of the more creative ways of getting people, and getting these entrepreneurs into town is a way that you can utilize some of the buildings, vacant buildings that you have. Maybe rebranding the borough. We talked about, you need to market the borough, so maybe rebranding the borough could be an option. Just some of the things to think about. Creating that sense of place for younger people, the millennials and even the Gen Zs and folks like that. They're looking for different things in their communities. They like to walk. They like to be close to work. They like nightlife. So we need to look at some of those things and how can we get those things in Charleroi even more than what you have now. Creating those places where younger people want to come and work and live. And lastly is just maybe prioritizing some of the vacant, underutilized and blighted structures and allocating resources that become available or going after them, either through grants or other programs that are out there, allocating those resources to addressing these different types of properties and structures that you have in the community. So our next steps are to get the draft plan to council as well as DCD for review and comment. We'll address those comments. Conducting a public meeting, we want to get that out once you guys had a chance to look at it. DCD gives their blessing, then we can get it out to the public so that they'll have an opportunity, so everybody will have a chance to take a look at what's going on in the community. Discussing any of the comments that we get to the public comment period back to you guys and also with DCD. Then prepare the final plan for the borough. And lastly, probably the most important is to implement the strategies, those goal strategies, recommendations that are in there to again move the borough forward. And again, so for any questions, be glad to answer anything that you guys may have or anybody that's here.
Just a couple things to make sure I'm clarification on things. The report itself will not be available until DCD approves it. So that's not available for anyone in the public to look at.
No, we're not at the point now where that's not for
sure
public consumption work.
Yeah, I thought that, but that's when we clear, everyone's clear on that, because there were some questions on that. We've all heard questions, people asking about that. On the ownership rental end, although that's not great, I believe, memory serves me right, about 4 or 5 years ago, it was 53.47.
So it's starting to get better.
And that's not great, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but at least it may hopefully be trending in the right direction. That's about 40 years, I remember that.
Well, that's good.
And just for one more, again, clarification, because I want to clear up all the rumors around the street, we all hear them. This is fully funded through the state, it is not coming through taxpayer dollars, and all bills are approved by DCD, and if there's any improper, DCD will not pay those bills.
Correct. DCD administers the program, which used to be the EIP, which is now the STMP. Yes, everything goes through the state. Naturally, you guys send it on to them. They have the final say so before things get paid. But we've been in contact with the state. We're talking to Michael Foreman, John Pro. They're well aware of what's, the process.
And I'm well aware of that, but I think a lot of the public is not, and I want to make sure they are aware of that, because I want that to be on the record, because they see the borough paying out, and there's a misconception by some people thinking the borough was actually paying. The borough is actually just making whole what the state has already paid us to pay out.
Correct.
So I just want to be sure everyone's 100% clear on that. I know we are here, but there's a lot of misconceptions out there. So, Kevin here and the media here, in general, I want everyone to make sure that there's no gray area on this whatsoever. Those are the only questions I had or things I want to add to it.
When can we anticipate the timeline for the delivery of the draft?
Draft plan, we're probably a few weeks out. So I don't want to give an exact time because we were still getting some information up until this past week, some financial information. So, we're working, we're not far off from the original schedule. In fact, the original schedule was, if you look at it, when we sat down, even with DCD here, that was actually pushed back because the project got started later than it originally was supposed to. But right now, we're a few weeks, we'll have that draft for you.
And along those same lines, the DCD is, we've not talked about, but again, we'll make everyone aware, some of the dates have changed from the original contract because of that. So there's nothing being held up on their end. Everything is still moving according to plan, and DCD is happy with, they've had no qualms whatsoever with the speed that things are going.
No,
Again, I just want to get clarification, because the rumor mill, I'm a big proponent of, let's go directly to the source and get the straight answers instead of the garbage we all hear about out there.
No, we've been in contact with DCD, they're well aware of what's going on.
Thank you. That's all I got. Anybody else have anything else with that?
Danny, I had a guy call me about a zoning issue the other day. He told me, he said, Charleroi got a gold mine sitting here right now, because I guess it's gonna be a mini cracker plant coming in off the Ellenport Mill, from what he said, plus GE and that new plant coming in Fellfield. He said, you guys got a gold mine sitting right here, because people are gonna want housing. They're not gonna want big-time housing, and they don't want slum housing, they want that middle class. And he said, just going around town one time, he said, boy, if you guys can get rid of some of the blight, he said, you could have a gold mine down here, and get somebody to come in and build some stuff.
Yeah.
We'd be in good shape.
Well, some of the strategies that are going to come out of this, what you'll see, that will help the borough do that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to add to this a little piece that I know. GE, Alston, up in Spears, they closed the plant down in Georgia, circuit breaker facility. They're going to bring 100 people in. And they actually, I was just talking to a guy that works up there. They took their warehouse, their new warehouse that they built in the back, and they're going to, they moved it out, and they moved out to where True Value used to be for a warehouse, and they're going to accommodate. Now, you got 100 people coming up here, it's going to be looking for the work.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I've traveled this whole world over for Siemens Westinghouse. And they're going to look at some of these houses that's in this town. So that's something to think about there too, that maybe if you weren't aware of, you are now.
I appreciate it, thanks. Anybody else?
Okay, thank you,
You
Dan.
need me to stick around, or?
No, unless you want to kind of hang out with us, you're more than welcome. Because I know you have so much free time.
Yeah. Guys, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Please, if there's any questions, you
Yeah.
guys have my number, email, call, whatever you guys need. But
Okay.
you'll see something soon, and we'll keep moving with it.
Appreciate it. Okay, let's go on to correspondence. The Tri-County Borough meeting is March 19th at Belleville Civic Center. Roberta, these next two I haven't had a chance to really talk to you about. PennDOT Connect's project data sheet.
They're in the packet. The PennDOT Connect, actually, they would like to set up a meeting to discuss this project coming through. So really, whenever you're available, I can call and set up a meeting with him. Anybody that wants to be at it, just give me a date and I can try to set it up.
Is there anyone else that wanted to be part of that meeting also?
It's a Wednesday also.
I'll give you a call.
Wednesday
tomorrow.
afternoon.
Yeah, I'll give you a call tomorrow with a couple dates that work for me, and you can reach out and see how it is for everybody else. Okay? Okay. Frank Morris, Washington Courts Jobs Program.
Yeah, he wants to bring in crew to work up at the Woodland Park, painting, grass cutting, whatever we actually need up there. He sent a pamphlet that's in the packet also of what they do. It's called a jobs program.
Okay. Do we need to vote on anything, Steve, or is it something?
Only I think one of the things he requested is if there was any supplies or anything that we could offer that they would use in terms of materials and supplies. So if we have to have any expenditures, we should go through our normal protocol of that. But I don't think there's anything we can do to fight them.
Maybe, let's see, we can have, maybe come down, we can go over what we want to do, maybe have TJ up there. Maybe anyone else from recreation and want to go up and meet with them and see what they need, and then we need a material list, we can put it at the meeting. those kind, those are easy. Okay, discussion items, resolution number 1 of 2020, Mid-Month Valley Transit Authority local funds of $6,935. That's something that's a standard every year. Is that, Ed, refresh my memory, that's about the same, did it go up or down?
It went up like $200 and some dollars percentage.
Okay. Okay. The Neighborhood Partnership Program. That's the program through DCD that John Pro's involved with. I met with her today with Roberta. Adele Hopkins was here, and one of the reasons she was here is that's would actually go through the CDC, that's being partnered with it. It's a good program, it helps us get funding for like a lot of these things we're talking about with the EIP.
It's a multi-year.
Right, it's a multi-year, we're not talking any cost on us. They actually go out and help us find funding for it. Right now, it's in the early stage, and we're not looking till the 2022 cycle, Roberta, is that right?
Yeah.
So, because the next funding's already been, everything's applications, we're never going to make the next round of funding.
Did you get the email she sent out this afternoon?
I have nothing back to her.
Because she wants us to set up a committee with the businesses, owners, residents.
One of the things we agreed today was, since the CDC is a 501c3, and they're looking for someone who is 501c3, the CDC will actually take a point on it, with us being one of the partners involved with it. They want people from the library board, the transit authority. We talked about fire department, business people, council people, a couple citizens at large. It's going to be a while yet, and it's about a brainstorming session first and seeing what we need, what our goals are in town. But a lot of the stuff that she talked about today are the very same things that Dennis is talking about. So this is all going to go hand in hand. So
She's been talking to me and Roberta about the
Then I-
last few months, telling us we should get involved in.
So I think from our end, the only thing we're voting on this point is to be part of the planning process. There's no funding, there's nothing of that. So that's the reason that's on the agenda. So you agree that we'll be part of the planning process moving forward. Anybody have a question on that at all? Okay, third election precinct. Nancy, you want to talk about that?
Yes, we are in need of election day workers for the third precinct, which is at SPHS. These are workers that will be inside, registering voters and everything. And we are in need of at least 4.
Well, Nance, let me interrupt for 1 second. We talked the other night about it. Did you ever get an answer if they're allowed to split shifts or not? And that might be easier, and you and I talked about if you can get somebody to do. It's hard to get somebody to do it, that's a long day.
When I spoke to her, I actually forgot because she brought up a couple other things that she is, and I'm not saying them right now because she was not sure of where the boundaries go, and she's looking into that before we come up with something.
Because that may be something, as we talked about, to
But
fall back on.
I'm going to bring out.
Dave, you were there, have you heard anything else on that? I know you and I talked about that night.
Well, I think the judge of elections has to be here.
Okay.
Okay.
He deals with the machine. So,
Right.
So that would have to be one person, but the others possibly could rotate out.
yeah.
I'll get a definite on
Okay.
that. I know that when they used the college students, the 1 year down there, the other group was in there before you guys got in there. That was a different precinct down there. They had college students that were taking like a half a day. And Melanie said they do have students from some of the local high schools that are already trained out that way. And they've been using them, whether, we can work with,
Larry Maggi mentioned they've had some good luck in different areas with him, I
Yeah.
talked about a couple weeks ago. So, I don't know, that's not really an agenda item, but I think that's more of an announcement. But I think once you get an answer to that question,
yeah.
you can have Roberta go ahead and post it on our Facebook page, exactly what you're looking for. The sooner the better on that, obviously.
Yeah, and Melanie will be putting out an actual advertisement from the county also. So, if everyone, Janine did post it, she had 2 people. I called Melanie and I let her know that she should be hearing from at least 2 people,
Okay.
hopefully.
Okay, but either way, we know we're looking for people, so keep.
Yeah, I didn't get into details, just said to call Melanie when we needed people.
Yeah, okay.
It's nothing.
And I will follow through on that other and have a report for next week.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sylvia Bob White, me and my wife, been there for several decades. We've done this half our life, and most of our life.
More than half the life.
Yeah.
And the other offer I can give you is I don't have a problem going down there and trying to help them, the new people who's situated, adjusting to what they have to do.
We
They have to
appreciate
be
that.
sworn in, I mean, there's a lot to that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Every little bit helps. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And that did happen up at the 2nd precinct because that board retired all at once and they got all new people in. But 2 of the people previously had gone down there and set up machines and stayed a while and went back and checked on them and everything. So that's definitely appreciated.
I have 2 executive session items I want to talk about. Before we get into that, does anyone else, anything else they want to add to the agenda?
Do you want me to go over Student Government Day at this time?
That's fine.
Okay, our Student Government Day this year will be April 15th, and the luncheon will be at the American Legion. Retired General Dave Papak will be our speaker, and the committee for Student Government Day, and that is a Legion event. And our commander over here, as is the tradition, the adjutant for the Legion handles the Student Government Day, and he set up a committee, and the committee will be the adjutant, Walt Stelma, the Legion chaplain, Mr. Brickner, myself and Janine Ticky will be the committee for Student Government Day under the auspices of the American Legion. I have another announcement about cats.
Oh,
no.
Jesus.
We were so close.
So close.
So
No
close.
kidding.
So close.
Okay, there's a possibility, Faith is looking into something. We don't have all the specifics as yet, but she is looking into whether we will fit into the parameters of this one grant she found out about. It is for municipalities, so we might have a hopefully positive update on that. We got most of the areas under control except the one up by Eddie and by Frank. So that whole group up there needs to be taken care of and spayed and neutered. The other thing is, on a positive note, we've kind of been the prototype for another borough that is going to take on their cat problem the way we handled ours. So I'm kind of proud of that.
God bless them.
Yeah. There was 2 more small things we did have a recreation meeting this morning. Everything's pretty well in place for the Easter egg hunt. We did discuss the gala with a semi-formal. I believe we talked about there was different themes, and whether it be formal, semi-formal, a masquerade event. And this is again for the Christmas light, raising money for Christmas lights.
So is it a gala or it's not a gala?
It's a game.
Gala, but semi-formal.
Okay.
Because in September, do you want to force everyone, well, it's still going to be pretty hot, we're putting a tux on.
I don't know a whole lot of people that have tuxes.
No, that was a question too. That was a question also. So,
I thought it was going to be July.
no, the last meeting, I wasn't at the last meeting, but they discussed the different things that were going on.
Okay.
September, was the 4th? 27th, I think it's the 4th Saturday. So that was, if anyone wants to get involved in it, you're welcome to. Community Days, we did talk about that's moving forward. The letters went out for solicitations for the fireworks for community days of August 15, 16, 16, 17. 15, 16. One of my dates are.
They'll show up on the 16th, 17th.
No, we'll be still cleaning up then. So that's coming into place right now at this point in time. Anyone have any questions on any of those things at all? Or?
I had something from Dave Barton. I'll find it.
Okay, and the stage is already covered, but there's a sponsor paying for the stage for it.
Yes, he did say
Do
that.
we need Ryan back with the Easter Bunny?
Did you actually say a name? Easter Bunny is a real thing.
That's his name, right?
Yeah, Ryan the Bunny.
He's chocolate Easter Bunny.
Oh, that's what it
His words,
was.
not mine.
That's what it was. It was for the, he said for the 15th, John McCart is doing the stage through Denny. We will donate the sound system through the sound company donated by 4th Street. Would like to get my band members paid, less me, of course. I'm working with Mark Smith on details of bands.
Okay. Yeah, Mark's been having a lot of entertainment on this, so.
Yeah, yeah, so.
We'll keep you posted on that. Our next meeting is the first Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We'll always have one. But any questions on that, feel free to point out. So no.
I'll come to that.
Okay, so if there's no other agenda items, I'm gonna, since there's a bunch of people here, unless someone has
I
ever.
had something I wanted to say.
Sure.
First of all, I wanted to thank the council for their participation with veterans and the activities that we do. And Mark, you came, and Janine came, and Heidi, and I know Jody and Nancy were very active in the Veterans Day Parade. And as commander of the American Legion, I have taken it personally that, I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, but 22 veterans commit suicide every day in this country. I had no idea that there was that many. When I served on council not too long ago when I was appointed, I purchased a building out of passion without thinking about the ramifications of it, because I know we had the Patriot House, but there was nothing in the valley that we had. And I wanted to have an outreach where ministers and priests could be present, that a veteran in distress could go and get advice on what he or she could do. And as commander of the Legion, I was realizing when we go to cemeteries to bury veterans, I was burying people my age, Vietnam veterans. And when I went to the Allegheny Cemetery for Veterans in Cecil Township, I remember going and there was like 10 urns of unknown veterans with no families. And there's such a need for us to recognize those who have gone before us and given us the freedoms we have today and the democracy that we have. I find myself in a dilemma because I don't have the resources myself to make that Veterans House happen. I even put it up for sale and I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. I have my own personal shortcomings with trying to maintain my own lifestyle with me and my 13-year-old German Shepherd dog. We're all getting old, and I'm reaching 74 next month. But I wanted to thank this council because out of all the communities, Charleroi has been involved in helping veterans. And I used to kid when our parade was going on, I said, if you want a job, I'll give it to a woman. And we had Jody and Nancy and Elaine, and they really did a good job. And we have 4 members on council that are women, so we should be in great shape in the future. In saying that, I wanted to say that I'm interested in appointing a representative from Borough Council on the Veterans Council itself. I am the commander of also of the North Valley Charleroi Veterans Council, and I'm interested, if anybody would be interested in being appointed to the committee, you know, I would like to entertain that because they did such a good job. And we're having Student Government Day, which is going to acknowledge our students. And time flies. I remember being mayor and talking to the young kids, and now they're all grown up. And I say this because we've heard a demonstration tonight about our community and on the future. I think we need a plan and something that we can all get together on, but I want the veterans to be part of it. And I want this council to be represented on the Veterans Council. And it's something that, it doesn't have to be just one person. In the past, veterans, the American Legion has been somewhat depicted. A lot of people didn't want to join because, well, I don't drink. Well, I don't drink either. But that doesn't mean that you can't participate in the affair of veterans' concerns. I served in Vietnam for a year. I have, all my friends are dead, and one of them committed suicide. So I have a feeling that it's hard to explain to people that have never been in a third world country, has served in a conflict of our country, but it was a war that really, everybody hated us. You know, they even told us we'd come back, put our uniform away, and don't talk about the war. And that's why passionately, I love the veterans, and I want to do it, but I can't do it alone. And I'm getting old, and I want the council, who I believe love our country, to participate. And it's something we can think about. And anybody would like to bring me your name, and I will appoint you to that. And in saying that, I'm very honored to be on this council again. It's still in my third month. And I'm hopeful that my expertise as mayor and council, that we can, that I can be an asset to this. I have, you know, I'm getting older, but I think maybe I can bring something to the board. But anybody would like to, Mr. President, I would like to.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
If anybody wants to think about that, let him know.
Yeah, well, I've served before and I'd like to continue to serve. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, I have so much on my plate right now, but at the same time, I'd like to make myself available whenever possible to you.
Well, sure.
I can't do a total
But
commitment,
whenever-
but you know anything you need, feel free to reach out to me.
More than happy to help.
Yeah.
You know, we did, by your participation, this Veterans Day parade, we had nothing to go by. We had no parade that said this is how we do it. And it was just wonderful. And now Menneson, I think, is going to have it next year, and they're leaning on us for guidance in their parade.
I thought Monongahela Hill was next year.
Well, Monongahela was going
No, I
to,
think
but
they should
Menneson,
have Menneson, right?
Menneson.
Well,
yeah.
originally it was Menneson, I got a call last week, it was Monongahela.
Well, there was a
Are they not going to be done with the streets?
There
in
was
Menneson?
See, they were supposed to have it last year,
Right.
and Lassie called me, he was commander of the VFW, said they couldn't, and we did it. Right, and Monongahela was going to pick it up because they didn't think Menneson was going to do it, but the Menneson is going to be.
Okay.
And I think it's been leave, and we did clear that up. But
Okay, that's good, because I got a call last week asking for things that, because somebody from Monongahela was being involved with it, called me
Right.
and asked me who they should talk to up here. So,
Maybe that's just-
well, no, they thought they were
Oh,
actually,
they are.
they were thinking they were actually, it's been a week ago. So the thing said that's obviously changed.
Absolutely.
I'll actually have to call this person about something else this week. So I'll make sure, and I'll let you know what he tells me and see if there's,
Thank you, yes.
if there's any kind of miscommunication between them. That could have obviously changed, it probably has. But, okay, thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Before we go to executive sessions, anybody have anything they,
Holly,
Yes, I'm here as a concerned citizen.
Don?
I live in this wonderful community. It'll be 76 years come June, in the same house I was born. I feel bad this town can't make a major comeback. But we have a problem. I have a house up on my street. And my street got several bad houses. But it has a sign posted on it, uninhabitable. A tarp on the roof, a sign on the house saying uninhabitable. I have no reason why it's uninhabitable. But my understanding from a phone call that I received from the code enforcement officer, when I shut water off in my garage at 10th Street, 3-bay garage, I get a phone call. Hey, is anybody living in there? If so, you can't have that water. All right? I said, no, no one lives there. I park vehicles, that's it. I turn it on and turn it off in the winter because I don't have heat. And I turn it off on in the summer. Now, this house has this posting, and the individual's still living in it.
If I may interject, because you and I have talked about it.
And you told me it was 5 days from posting.
Correct.
That's
Bobby-
fine.
Bobby, is that correct?
I thought it was 10.
It's five for a plan, and then 10 if the plan's not real up and up, or it seems like you're gonna fix it, you gotta go. 10 days, great.
But to me, you don't live in it if it's a health hazard until whatever the problem is corrected. And then it's evaluated and inspected by the code enforcement officer. Now, my question is, if that happens to me and my house is posted, or another citizen that pays taxes in this community, are we going to get the same dispensation as a council member that lives in a property that's posted? That's all I want to know.
I will say that it has been posted, unfortunately, because it is a personnel matter and not necessarily directly the person involved. It doesn't necessarily pertain to a borough issue. But yes, to answer your question, the person has been made well aware of it. The person has 5 days to get their plan together.
Yeah.
And rest assured, this
You know,
person
because
has talked to us about it short. And if not, yes, they will fall under the same guidelines as anyone else, but they are following up on it as we speak.
The reason I bring this issue, not long ago at Lincoln Avenue, you had a fire. No utilities with oxygen bottles. Now, I'm an old fireman. I know what these guys went through when they went in that building with that oxygen in it. But I can't imagine what this poor individual was doing living there. It's a safety issue. I'm a safety engineer. I'm an electrical degree and safety degree engineer. It's a safety issue. To me, when them postings go up, to me, that's immediate. Because the longer you wait, the more you impact things.
And I won't dispute a single word you're saying, Paul. I won't dispute. I'm with you 100%. But Steve, I'm corrected. I mean, by law, we have to give them that 5 days. Is that correct? So it is a safety issue, and we've been in contact with this person and being very specific, and the person is directly communicating with Bob regularly as far as an update on it. Rest assured, I've talked to the person, and in those 5 days, there will be a plan in place, and I've been assured there will be. If not, the next appropriate measures will be taken.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Anyone else have anything else they wanted to address council on before we go to a quick executive session?
Dave.
Yes, Dave.
Reason for that posting is because the water's been shut off.
Correct.
All that person has to do is pay the water bill. Turn it right back on. And we have a resolution at the authority, the water authority. It says payment must be made in full before the water is turned back on. That's all that needs to be done. That's what brought this about.
Correct. And I think there's a problem, and they're trying to do both, and I'm glad you pointed out, because, if the water gets paid, even if it's not turned on yet, because it can't be turned on right now, because this person has an issue, they have a plumber actually fixing it at this very moment.
So then,
Or I was told.
so what's the status then? Is it
The sta-
temporarily condemned?
The status is, the posting went up Monday, Bob, is that right? So it'd be 5 days from Monday, so by Friday, the plan has to be there. Bob or Steve, answer this question. If it's not finished in 5 days, but the plan is there, are they able to be there, or do they have to be out in the next 5 days while the plan is being instituted?
Bobby, you jump in.
Either one of you two to answer that question, because I'm not sure that answer.
Like I said, Steve's the legal man. My opinion is, you give us a plan in 5 days. In my opinion, it should be 5 days. Like I said, you may run across some things to get, maybe you don't have enough pipe, or there's a catch in the house that you can't do whatever. But my opinion is, you've got 5 to give me a plan, and 5 to get some water turned on. After that,
Okay, but in that second 5 days, they can still be there while the plan is. I mean, although I don't know how you, I don't think, I was told, and I can't verify because I haven't seen, but I was told the person's coming in and out but not living there, and you're there, Paul, so you see more than I do.
I can tell you, comes in late at night and leaves in the morning. I have video cameras, security on my house that I can plug right on out of the computer.
Well, rest assured, it's being followed up on, and the person is following up on it also. And it's not being forgotten about, and everyone does follow the same rules.
There's a lot of
Things
things.
get distorted. The way it's set up, the bottom line. People are not paying their bill. By law, we have to give them so much time. Okay? The way it's set up between the borough and the authority, anyone, in Charleroi, Menneson, Denora, Spears, anyone who gets their water turned off cannot live in that house, period. There's no 5 days. I think they're talking about 2 different things. That other problem that needs fixed has nothing to do with this.
Okay, but wait a minute, so.
How do you wash your hands? How do you get it back? You can't do any of this. We're getting this all distorted.
So I need clarification, because I'm hearing 2 different things now.
Bob gets a list. He gets a list. Every time he
But
sends me a list.
if I'm gonna chase everybody out, if the water company has a rule, let them chase them out. I'll never get done doing anything but chasing people. I got a list there one day, it was like 30-some people on it. That's all I'd spend doing is chasing people out of their houses. The water company has a rule on it, let them throw them.
Well, the incident Paul's talking about right now, 2 days from now is the 5th day, so we're gonna have an answer on that.
Okay.
Either way, but moving forward, I guess we're gonna need some clarification on this. Because I do understand what Dave's saying, if there's no water there, how can you sanitary?
It's a health hazard.
But,
When Michelle was here, when she got that list, she went and posted the house and the person had to leave.
that day,
Immediately.
okay?
Yes.
Okay, well, we're gonna get clarification for moving forward. From this point, today is Wednesday, we'll have something resolved by Friday on this. Okay? Paul, when you give me a call, I'll keep you posted on it, or you talk to Bobby, we'll keep you posted on it.
I understand, talk to you or Robert.
Thank you very much, I appreciate,
Thank you.
appreciate everything. Okay, does anyone else have anything they want to add? Okay, we're going to go to an executive session on a personnel matter and on a contractual matter. We're not going to be voting on anything. I don't expect this to be exceptionally long, but there's nothing we're going to vote on after. Since there's a lot of you here, we're going to go ahead and go over to council chambers, so we're not going to make them move. We'll go over there. Or not, I mean, oh my gosh, Secretary's office.
Community room?
Secretary's office. Secretary's office.